YouTube freaked out, so here we are again. But starting back up, this is the last section I have to do over here. Hopefully, if you were interested in the last one, you'll pop in here again. I'm just using the antifungal, anti-mold paint. This is an older house, so I just want to make sure it's all covered. This is all inside the wall, so honestly, it doesn't matter. It'll never be wet, but this is overkill because that's the way I tend to do things, is overkill. So we'll just make sure that everything's good and lathered up. Then we'll go into the bathroom where we're going to be doing the same thing. So let's go ahead and move on over. You can see that essentially the walls in this room look very similar to the last room that we were in. However, we did replace the wood that's here because it was all rotten out. I did throw some caulking down there and wanted to make sure that all the holes were sealed up prior to, because that's a big bug highway, so to speak. So I'm gonna go ahead and start lathering this stuff up once I get everything on there. So I don't know if anybody does mold remediation, but you can tell me, hey, this doesn't make any difference at all, and that's fine. But I've got the paint, I'm going to use it, so that's what we're doing. I don't know if anybody has ever done this in the history of home remodeling. Maybe they have. Maybe it's not as overkill as what I think. So if it's not, feel free to tell me. But some of this is new. All this side over here is actually new because it's all rotten out, which was a fun little surprise. If you've ever done any renovation, you probably know that you can count on something to cost so much, and then you get a little surprise like, hey, this entire wall is rotten, and so bing bang boom, you've got a lot more that has to be taken care of prior to moving on to the next part of the project. If you got any questions. How much do I make per hour, Calvin? Nothing. I make nothing per hour. This is for my personal house here, so I'm not the guy to ask on how much you should be charging. Or maybe the comment is, hey, whatever the amount is, you're making too much because you're doing a sloppy job and it doesn't matter. Well, this is all bare wood, and if you're just joining, this is all for antifungal reasons, because we're doing a remodel on this house that we live in. I'm just basically encapsulating everything, killing everything. I did spray a mold and fungus killer on here, and then this will just basically double the job. So let me know if you got any other questions. I check the chat every few minutes, so if I haven't answered your question yet, it's because I've got to physically get up and go and check. But yeah, some of this wood was pretty nasty, and actually there's a piece over here that probably should have been replaced now that I see it, but everything's sealed up, so it'll just be what it is at this point, which is a bummer. But yeah, we basically added an entire house onto this house. I'll do a full thing later on, but this is more of just you all getting to see some of this stuff live, because I have not been doing much on the channel as of late, and this is hopefully to keep everybody interested. Like I said, would love to do another video of the Christmas lights here, which probably gonna do pretty soon, but because a lot of people are gonna be making those Christmas arches pretty soon. And I know there's always a ton of questions. So basically what I did, I went through and addressed the majority of the questions that I normally answer in the chat. So we'll see if that helps anybody out. We did put some nice Anderson windows in here. You can see that's what that is. But if you just joined, feel free to drop any questions you have, and I'll answer them as I check the chat. You have big news. What's up, man? What kind of big news you got? So, looks like we're kind of coming and going once again. If you're new, we're just using some mold and fungus resistant paint. 100% overkill. It's not needed, but I'm doing it because it's cheap. And more of a peace of mind type of thing. So, I don't know if anybody has ever done this before, but drop some comments if you have, because I'd be curious to know about it. And if you do ask a question, just know it's going to take me a few minutes to get to it, because I don't look at the comments constantly. Please keep the comments clean, because I don't want to go back and have to see some nasty messages. Oh, but yeah, this is just a slop job, and that's gonna be, hey, congrats, buddy, you're gonna be a dad. Fantastic. Love that. I've actually got one on the way too. We found out that my wife was expecting, and it was a total surprise. So I don't know if yours was a surprise or not, but congrats nonetheless. Love that for you. I don't know if it's your first or not, but if it is, big congrats. This will be actually my third kid, first biological. We adopted our first two, and yeah, so congrats to you on that. That'll be awesome. Gonna do this over here. And basically just keep on throwing this stuff down. Happen to come in and wonder why I'm painting unfinished wall, it's just to completely cover up, kill anything that might be growing while the walls are open. So it's an exercise in being overkill. So that's what we're doing, and that's the only purpose. So, if you do have a question, throw it in the chat. I'll address it. Or, heck, even a comment. We just had somebody tell us he's going to be a dad, and so congrats to him. We'll see if there's anything else. Nothing here, but let's go ahead and move over to this wall. We'll move down to right here at the bottom, and that will clean everything out for us. So get, drywall or anything behind there. That's kind of crazy. This, like I said, overkill. Just putting up the stuff for mold prevention. Now we're done with this. Okay, Raven, congrats, buddy. That must be why you're here watching me do this. Feel free to ask any questions that you have. We are, right now, you see that black stuff that's on the wall? That's essentially what I'm taking care of right now. That was where I had a bunch of stuff that was fungus, I guess, over the years in this house remodel that we're doing. There were a bunch of different ants and everything that had gotten in there. So while I had everything off, I'm basically going through and just covering it up, killing it. I sprayed it with some antifungal, and now I'm going through and covering it with some antifungal paint. And so it doesn't have to look good, just has to be on there. And it is overkill. You might be thinking, why am I doing this? And the answer is I don't have to, but I'm choosing to. And actually, I need to get a scraper real quick, so I'll be back. If you're just popping in, I am just doing a bunch of overkill stuff here. I'm going to scraper. I will be back. Framing square. That's all I could find that was straight edge here, and just want to make sure I'm getting all this out. For those that are just joining, this is just an overkill, making sure that I won't have any mold or fungus or anything grow once I seal up these walls. And what's crazy, all this stuff was scraped off before it kind of swelled up once I sprayed it with the antifungal. I mean, it's not working, they just swelled up some. So get it out of there, and then we'll go ahead and slop this in there. Like I said before, it doesn't matter what it looks like because nobody will ever see it. The floor is not finished. This is not finished work. This is just encapsulation. So if you got a question, drop it in the comments. I'll address it. I know a lot of people are just kind of jumping in and jumping out. So I'm repeating myself a lot. If you've been here for a while, you're a trooper. I'm just doing some encapsulation stuff to get rid of any fungus or mold or anything like that. So I'm going to keep on going. Feel free to drop a question in the comments. And if you're finding this, I appreciate you stopping by for sure. I'm not sure if you're a subscriber. If you are, that makes sense. If you're not, I'm not sure how you ended up here, but thanks for checking it out. I do have another Christmas video coming up on how to make a bunch of Christmas arches for your driveway. That's probably my most successful video in between that and the pond fountain, the DIY pond fountain. That was a good one. It did pretty well. This one's is just kind of filler content because I know I gotta put some stuff out from time to time, or you fall off YouTube's radar. So this is just the attempt to maintain relevance on the channel. And then I'm going to do a floating pond rake and basically a update on the how-to for Christmas arches, because people constantly ask questions on those Christmas arches. And so I basically made a follow-up video that answers all those questions. That way it prevents multiple people wondering, looking through the comments, and essentially will save everybody some time. Plus, it's another video that I know that people wanted. If you're new, I'm doing an encapsulation here for fungus and mold. You can kind of see some of the dark spots. And all this has been treated. We're just doing a remodel addition on the house that we bought. And while the walls are open, I'm just going overkill on everything. And so this will never be an issue again, because we do have everything taken care of from the outside, and this is just extra. I don't want any of my kids having to deal with mold or fungus or anything like that ever. So that's what we're taking care of here. I don't know if you've ever done this or not. If you do it for a living, tell me I'm wasting my time, or say, hey, good job, give me a thumbs up, ask a question if you got any. Could be a personal question or just a question about what you're doing. I'll answer it if it's not inappropriate, and we can go from there. I am checking the comments frequently, which is causing this to take longer than it should, but whatever. We did have somebody post that they were under the influence, which is not my thing, but more power to you, I suppose. I am almost finished up with this section over here, and so there's a small section down here that you can see that I need to take care of too. So I'm going to do that, which actually that is now going to be a shower that's back here. It's in the new section of the house we just added. So this used to be the back wall. It was exposed. Now it's not. And yeah, so everything that I'm covering up here is just never going to see water again, or it better not, because it's the interior wall. It'll all be covered up by tile or marble or whatever we end up doing in the shower. So nothing to worry about there. I probably should have vacuumed this section out, but I didn't. I'm not stopping now. It doesn't really matter if it a little bit. The finish does not matter here at all. It can be totally rough and nobody will ever see it. Nobody will ever know. So that's what I'm doing here. Basically just throwing this in here. If you're new, go ahead and drop a like if you'd like to. Ask a question if you want to. Hey Raven, do you want to talk? I got my room painted yesterday. I don't believe that Christy is a real person here, so I would ignore that. I'm not sure if I've got mainly bots watching here or what, but I'm going to move this here. That way you're not staring at my butt as I'm painting. So I'm just searching for my scraper, and I couldn't find it. overkill stuff. And before the drywall goes up, I'm just throwing basically a mold killer up. Nothing else to it. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the chat. I'll answer it. Give me a like. I'm sure that would help with the algorithm. You know, everybody begs for those likes and thumbs up and all that stuff. So I guess there's got to be a reason for it, right? So feel free to ask a question. I'm checking them out every so often. But if you're new, this is a fungus and mold killing paint. We bought a old house, we're redoing it, and basically just going through and making sure that everything's encapsulated and not gonna have any issues with mold, fungus, or anything like that once it gets sealed back up. That's why I don't care if I drop paint everywhere. I don't care about any of it. It's just, it is what it is. And I'm just trying to get it covered. I do need a drink because of how much I've been talking and breathing this junk isn't great. But here we are. So I'll probably kill the stream here in a few, unless somehow I get more people that show up. Because honestly, I'm kind of at the point to where it is almost done. With this section, I'd want to listen to the music here. I can't because YouTube. So unless I can figure out how to do music on a live stream, this is my first live stream. So thanks for checking it out. Even if you were only here for a couple seconds, definitely nice that people stop by and watch me paint the inside of the wall that'll never be seen. So you all are really, outside of me, going to be the only people to ever see this. It's kind of wild to think about, huh? Think that you saw the inside of a wall that you'll never see the outside of, especially in person. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this taken care of too. Worth posting videos that you have where people just watch you work. Is that a thing? Is there a certain way that I should be doing all this? If so, let me know. If there's anything I can do to improve, let me know. You can see that there's 5 of you all here. We've got another section there that I need to do. Basically right there, you can kind of see the darker areas. That's essentially what I'm going over top of. Fungus, mold, doesn't matter. This paint kills it. And so that's essentially what I'm doing. I'm gonna move the light over here because this section is way worse. Go. So you can see over here, there's this section here, which is funny because I sprayed it all with actual mold and fungus killer. I don't know if it's from water. I don't know if it's from the ants that were living in there, but that's what I'm getting rid of. That's what I'm doing at the moment. So if you're here checking it out, I appreciate it. Basically just breaking out the extra stuff here, and then over top of that, I'm just which is kind of silly, but that's what I can find at the moment. So that's what I'm using. Let's see. We do have a couple more people in here who've just joined. I'm basically getting ready to seal up these walls. We did a renovation on the house, my house, that I live in. We had to move out for it. Getting rid of, we had a bunch of wood rot, all these dark spots and everything. It was basically mold and nasty. So I've already sprayed it once, and now I'm just going through and covering it all up with fungus and mold killer paint. So if you got a question about this stuff, it's made by the same company that makes Zap or whatever, and so it does not cover the color, but that doesn't really matter because none of this will ever be seen. This is mainly just making sure that everything's covered, killed, and it is an overkill step. This entire process has been overkill for me. All the wood you see here was actually replaced because there was a bunch of bad flashing on the house. The house ended up having some wood rot, and so that's all new. But now some of these older boards that are down in here had some nasty on it, and so just making sure that when my daughters move into this room that they don't have to deal with anything that's going to cause them any issues. So, got any questions? Drop them in the chat and I'll check them eventually. So, alright guys, I think that's about it for me. Hope it entertained somebody, but if not, it was free, so enjoy the night.